Gentlemen, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Braven. If you don't know who I am, I'm a Razer affiliate. As you can see, I am a FPS genre shooter streamer. I stream a lot of games. I haven't been streaming in a while, but this is for everyone that has supported the channel, or if you're new, you're looking into audio EQ settings for Razer Blackshark V2 wired. I'm here to give you that. This is a revamp. I've done these videos in the past. If you want to use any old EQs over these EQs and give them a shot for yourself, by all means, I'll make a playlist and you guys can go through that playlist and see if that EQ works better for you. But this is a revamped version for what I found as current, and it's been the best that I could find. But if you do enjoy this video, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and follow my socials, which is my main channel is for streaming at Twitch, twitch.tv/x_Braven. And then there's also my Twitter, my Instagram, all that other good stuff. So I'll probably be linking that in the description. But also with timestamps, I'm gonna be trying to get those timestamps out. It's gonna be kind of hard to do. Again, I usually, when I'm recording these videos, I'm on my way to work. So I know you guys have been looking for this video, for those that have come back, and it's finally here. But I have a lot of things I gotta discuss about the EQs before we hop right into it and let you guys know what's going on. So obviously, first and foremost, this is the last time I'll be using this headset for a while. This will be considered now the backup. So this is my backup headset after today. I'm going back to the Blackshark V2 Pro just because it's a nicer headset, better audio quality. If you do have the money and do want to upgrade, that is the best route you could go, in my opinion. But if you don't have the money and this is your best bet, obviously you're here for a reason, and trust me, it's a great headset. I love this headset, but it's definitely a backup in my mind. So other than that, for those looking for the realistic EQ, it's here, and I'm gonna show you it, but I'm gonna just say full-on rough draft because I've only had one game to test this on, and it's only because this is the only game that I've really found to be like accurate in terms of like realistic sounds and weird audio. But it's all based off of an island, so it's really weird. I used Ark Survival Involved as my grounding for it. But I also tried other games too, like Cyberpunk 2077. I don't have Grand Theft Auto yet, but Grand Theft Auto is going to be very similar in terms of like city life sounds, but I just knew that Cyberpunk was more too futuristic, and it has a lot of weird random audio cues and stuff, so I didn't really want to use that after testing for a while. So I went just straight to Ark, and Ark was like more just true to life, like positioning sounds and audio clarity of like wilderness and bugs and dinosaurs and long footsteps, just shit like that. So, and water sounds and stuff like that. So I try to run the EQ for the realistic EQ as best as I can, but I'm gonna just say rough draft because obviously you guys might find something better, and if you do, please leave it in the comments. But yeah, I just didn't think that it was the best depiction of an EQ for the realistic audio EQ. I didn't have enough testing to do it, so please help me out. Actually, I'm asking the community here to give me your feedback. You could start with this one as a baseline maybe, and then from there make your own adjustments, and then maybe your own like opinions on it. But that would be a really cool, appreciative thing for me. But also I'll still try to get a GTA EQ done like eventually later on. Just do an update, but like not like a video, probably just like an update into the comment section. But I will be doing EQ testing for Blackshark V2 Pro. Maybe we'll compare the two or whatever and see how it works. What else was I gonna go about? Oh yeah, so the music EQ settings. So I do have a music EQ settings set up, but again, it was mainly like rap, hip hop, and then all of a sudden, electronic music kind of just like molded a little bit together. But it was really hard to get a good clean bass sound out of both with this headset. But I was able to at least get a dialed in EQ for electronic music mainly, and then rap was like a lot of just, I don't know, it's overly done bass sound. It wasn't clean, it wasn't punchy. It was just like kind of like loud, over distorted type bass, and it kind of bugged me a little bit when I was testing it. But I got this to the best that I could, so bear with me. But I think it's going to be a pretty good EQ, and like I said, every EQ, I've told people this in the past, people have seen my videos, but if you're new, I usually say go by my EQs and then adjust up one or up two on each EQ, or down one or down two on each EQ, just because your ears could be different than mine, and you guys can pick up different sounds a little differently with your ears compared to mine. So this is just like, use it as a baseline starting point and then work with it. But I feel like with my testing of my ears, I found this to be the best that I possibly think could be for myself. So hopefully it works out for you too. And also in this video, I know for the ones that are new, I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to show you guys what my setup is on Windows and everything, and why I go about it this way. It's pretty much the same that goes for the Blackshark V2 Pro and this headset, and it's always been the same like throughout now. So this is what I believe is the perfect, you know, dialed in like audio experience for your headset. So without further ado, we're gonna switch it over and we're gonna get you guys the Windows settings and then into the EQ. So here we go. Okay, so yes, not sound settings. I don't know why I can't just ever get a clean video out. You know what I mean? I always fuck up on something. But anyways, you want to go to Windows, your little sound bar right here, this little sound window thing, whatever you want to call it, speaker. You want to go to sounds. Okay, you're gonna right click it and then open up sounds. And then when you go to sounds, you're gonna want it set up like this. Obviously, like this is my monitors, so you're just gonna ignore the monitors. They're both ready, but they could be disabled. I just personally like to have my main monitor, which is the actually right here, the VG279QM. That monitor I like to have because it actually has speakers on it. So I like to have that as a backup to like if I just unplug my headset or something, or if it's not plugged in, then I have audio coming out. Maybe if I wanted to like just, you know, sit back real quick while I'm just chilling, drinking a drink or whatever, and just have some audio coming out of my computer, right? That's just all it's there for. Nothing more than that. But right here, you want your Razer USB sound card device as default communications device on playback, and then you want your THX spatial audio speakers under default device. This is what's going to unlock all the 7 channels in each cup. So remember that, okay? You're going to want this as default device. That's guaranteed no matter what. All right. By the way, further testing too, I have not done, for those that are looking for the aux plugin to the computer. I've had issues trying it, so that's why I'm not doing that right now, but I will be trying to fix that later at a different time, just to give it a test, a small test. But for those that are looking for the internal aux jack right here for that type of settings, hold on to that thought. It's still coming, but like I said, it's just I've been having issues where when I connect it, it's kind of buzzing and stuff. I don't know if this is my case or my plug to it. I have no idea, but we'll figure it out. Anyways, so make sure it's set up like this. Everything else gotta be disabled or disconnected, or not plugged in. Obviously, it's not plugged in, but make sure everything else is disabled or disconnected, bar none. Disconnect. This is just a Bluetooth speaker, so bear with me on that one. Anyways, recording. Now I use a Razer Siren Mini as my main microphone. So obviously this microphone right here is actually the camera that you guys are looking at me, has an integrated mic. That's disabled. Make sure that's disabled if you're using a camera like this. And then I also have the Razer USB sound card under ready for microphone. That's the headset. So if you're using the headset, obviously you're gonna use that as your default device, but if not, this is my default device under recording, because this is what I use for talking in game, talking in stream, talking everywhere. So stereo mix disabled, obviously. Everything else not plugged in, blah, 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 blah. You know how it works, right? And then after that, I don't know what happened, but my voice cut out. It was really weird. The voice feedback. I know you guys didn't hear it, but I was like, oh. So obviously right here says Windows can automatically adjust the volume or different sounds when you're using your PC. Just put that as do nothing, okay? Just make sure that's like that. And then under here, just leave it all what it is. I know a lot of people were saying that there is a little trick with the, how do I put it? The Windows enhancements. That is THX spatial. That is your enhancement. So you do want that on. However, you do not want that turned off, because then you don't get the spatial surround sound actual software running in your computer through Windows to activate the 7 channels. So just remember that, okay? So we're going to exit out of this, and then we're going to go to our Razer Synapse, which you're all here for, right? So anyways, I got a few of these, okay? And I've tried reaching to some of you that are looking for EQs. I really did in certain games. It was a pain in my fucking ass, I'll tell you that right now. But there's a lot that I have in here. Some of them are pretty much the same, if not a little revamped, like I said. And a lot of them I just needed to bump up the audio like crazy. And that was because there were certain audio cues I wasn't picking up. But again, that could be in-game issues. That could be, you know, just a lot of weird things. But this headset, like, I noticed that, like, your bass audio, which is the most important audio for competitive gaming, is kind of lower compared to the V2 Pro. So that's why a lot of it's bumped up like crazy. But that was because I just need to pick up as best of audio cues and whatnot as best I can. And it's really hard to do that. So I did want to also mention, too, that I noticed in some games, I know for sure 2 games. I know one of them Warzone, and another one was like, it was a Splitgate, if I'm not mistaken. I was one of those games that had the audio dimmed, and you just had to switch from your default device under the in-game settings to default communications device. So keep doing that back and forth. You just got to switch it over. It's doing the same bug again.
And I know Warzone had an update where they tried integrating the new Vanguard audio system or whatever, and it's just fucking bullshit. They're breaking their game again. So I have my opinions on Warzone. Everyone knows that, and Call of Duty as a genre entirely. But let's get to this, okay? So volume all the way 100 right here at this spot. Obviously, this is just if you unplug your headset, it's going to go to a selected device. So obviously I would have put my monitor here normally, but it's just not selected, which it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously you can do whatever you want with that, but this is just if it falls. It's like they call it a fallback, where you just fall back. It's like I unplug my headset, guess what, you're gonna hear audio out of my computer. So there you go. Anyways, mixer. Now this is very important, okay? So I've told you guys this in many videos. For those that are new, you want to do this, leave this off, because it overpowers what Windows is already unlocking with the software. So when you have THX Spatial down here, right down here, when you have THX Spatial as your default device, you're already getting the THX Spatial through your Windows, okay? That's the connection. So when you download audio, when you download THX Spatial, or should I say Razer Synapse, if your headset does not come with THX Spatial, you could buy THX Spatial. It'll install to your computer or whatever, and then your software will download it into Windows and all that whatever, and then you'll use it as like a main primary sound. That's why they have Windows Sonic. Windows Sonic's its own version of like a THX Spatial if you want to talk like in sense of that, but it's honestly just its own iteration. It's not the greatest through testing at least, but that's other things you could test in the future. But this is why I tell you guys this overpowers it, and you get more of the channel separation of audio with it off, because it overpowers what's going on in Windows, what's down here. So you have THX Spatial on right here, but you don't need it on here. But before you set it up, you just want to make sure you click it on, put it to custom mode, okay? So that's where it gets your EQ set, and then you want to set the game that you're currently playing or whatever. That's under this. So obviously Apex would be under custom mode, as you can see here. Everything else is in game mode. Don't worry about that. It switches per profile. So custom mode, turn it off, and as you can hear the audio difference. So it's still bugged out. Maybe when they do a revision of this app or this software, it'll be a lot better. But right now, you're just gonna get the best audio clarity, and just everything's really much better with it off. So you just want to make sure that is custom though. So every time you come in here, when you turn on your computer or whatever, or you set up your headset to be playing on console or whatever, you want to come in here and just click it on, go to custom mode, turn it back off. Simple as that. And make sure the game you're running is on custom mode too. So anyways, that's it for that part. Now before I show you the EQs right here, before I show you the EQ, I want to show you the mic. So this is what I run with the mic if you're running as a mic in any sense, okay? So obviously if you have an external mic, you're talking like streamer or whatever, you want to have feedback from your mic to your headset so you can hear yourself talk, because if you don't, you're going to be yelling into your mic because you want to hear yourself talk. It's just natural human stuff. So obviously I have mic monitoring side tone at 100, mic volume at 100. Everything else doesn't need to be on, doesn't even need an EQ. I know I've talked about EQs in the past with this headset, and people were asking if you want to mic EQs. I can come back and revisit this headset for specifically the mic purposes, but right now I'm just gonna hold off on that. But we're gonna go back to the enhancements now, and this is where the EQs you guys have been asking for. So I know my camera's kind of sorted in the way, but you can kind of see what's tabbed on, what's tabbed off. That's the good thing. So Apex, as I explain these games, how I've tested it, obviously just in-game majority of the time is just playing matches, especially if it's a competitive shooter. I've just normally come in and just try my best to fucking play with audio while I'm on in-game, and I've done that for a while. Everyone knows that. So but with Apex, I've had little testing because it's pretty similar to the last one, if I'm not mistaken, just a little bit differences in certain audio spots. But for the most part, like I said, it was hard to test because of all the issues the game's having with the servers bugging out. And then when I turn on the game, you see my keyboard lighting up right now, right? Like it's got this cool little fucking dope ass light up. When I see the game start up, it's lagging. It's like tick, tick, tick. It looks like it's like like 15 frames a second on my RGB. It's crazy. So the game's in a bad state, and so I was only able to test so much on decent games that I could get into and actually run. And so I've been staying away from Apex because of that issue. I know a lot of people have. But anyways, base boost 100%. You really need as much audio clarity in that game as possible in terms of like footsteps at distances. That's like the key to that game. And also a reminder too, with all these EQs, this is all competitive, except for, like I said, the realistic EQ and then the music EQ. But this is all competitive, okay? So this is all for your competitive advantage. It's not for like, oh, I want to hear like if it's real life. That's really hard to do in a game that has sliding, missile launching freaking legends that are, you know, jumping, wall bouncing and shit. So you want just the competitive edge. You know, you want to take out the less important audio with the more important audio. You want to put that in there. So without further ado, I have it at 7, 5, 7, 6, 3, 1, 3, 1, 0, and 4. And the reason, like I said, I have the bass up high is because the bass is most important audio in that game. However, I have the highs, like the very highs, for like the loud grenade explosions or gunshots with certain guns. Maybe like what's that gun, that Rampage or whatever, when it runs out of ammo or something, or you know what I mean, when you like drop all the bullets out of it. No, it's not the Rampage, I'm sorry. It's like it's one of those guns in there that has like a little chinging sound that can be heard at distances, very rarely, but it does happen. And that's the important audio that needs to be up a little bit. So that's why the highs there are up at the very top at 4, and everything else is at 7, because, you know, footstep audio is probably the most important thing in the game, period. You know, like gunshots are one thing that helps, but this is like, you need to hear somebody above you or below you, and this will give you the best audio separation with my settings. So start here, and remember, if it doesn't work for you, adjust 2 up or down on each one, play with it a little bit, find out what works best for you. Just use this as like a rough line to start. But this for me works. I don't play with it when I'm playing Apex. I'm content with this. This works for perfect for me. So all right, Battlefield, everyone knows this is like my game. I love Battlefield. Audio is always amazing in this game, and I just give myself the certain important certain important lows at a high, because of the fact that, you know, in certain scenarios you need to hear the footsteps. Now, I do want to clarify that I've noticed in Battlefield 4 the audio is a little different than Battlefield like 5 and 1. Battlefield 5 and 1's audio is actually really fucking good. Battlefield 4's is kind of like, yeah, it's good, but it's, you know, outdated. So like some of these I would bump up a little bit for Battlefield 4, especially the lows. So right here I have 5, 2, 3. Let me say that again because I just 5, 2, 3, 4. 1, 0, 1, 1, 2, and 3. Like I said, you know, I still bump up the highs a little bit just for rangier guns or rangier explosions and stuff, just to kind of get a general emphasis of where the fucking person's at, right? So, but the lows, footstep audio, important keys. But again, the audio is so good in that game, you just really need to bump it up a little bit. It's just enough to kind of go, okay, yeah, like, you know, now I can hear this guy stomping upstairs. Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1 works perfectly. Battlefield 4, like I said, I personally would go up like 1 on each maybe of the lows, and then everything else stays the same. That's about it. That's all I would do. And then obviously bass boost at 100, everything else off. So another thing, key feature too, I know I want to tell you guys about is sound normalization is a really big, like, surprising little feature in the Razer Synapse. So sound normalization actually could give you a lot of different audio, but what it does is it sort of reminds me of, like, say, I want to give the example of Warzone, but I know a lot of people don't play Warzone, so I won't do that. But pretty much what it does, it's kind of like turning on THX Spatial in the Synapse software with the THX Spatial in Windows. It's not worth it, because in the end, like, there's some cues where it's just audio is just overly powered, but some cues in certain games will be like, oh my god, it's actually like, you know, more like I could dictate what sounds are what, you know what I mean? So obviously that's like a play thing. You could try to play with it and see if it works for you. Obviously I keep it like the low 20s up to like 50s, I think the most, depending on the game, depending on what I'm doing. So Battlefield, it's a great EQ. I always run this and I love it. So CSGO gets a little loud. This is where I put the sound normalization on, and you can hear the music kind of bumped up because of it too. That's what I was talking about. With music, sound normalization really just adds like the health and emphasis to the music. It feels so fucking good. It feels so like impactful. But we're not talking about music. We're talking about CSGO. So CSGO, I have it at 50, and that with my testing, it's because CSGO and Valorant are two of the hardest games to really dial in an EQ for, because you're only giving audio cues for certain spots, and it's really just two important sounds: walking, like when they actually, or should I say running, or explosions and gunshots in the distance. That's about it. And like, yeah, I know it sounds like pretty much with every game, right? But this game, it's like you only get that running once in a while if they're not sneaking around and stuff. So audio is like very hard to have in that game, but it's all really about map EQ and awareness and that. So I mean, this is a good starting point. If you don't like it, like I said, just adjust by 1 or 2 on each or whatever and see if it's you. But I personally, with my testing, I've tested more Valorant than CSGO, but at least it's very similar in those two. So Bass boost at 100, like I said, bass audio, most important. And then sound normalization kind of helps me with the sounds at the very, very far distance, you know, like across the map, somebody's sniping or something. I need to hear that, like, exact pinpoint spot he's at. So I got 5, 2, 1, 5, 2, 0, 2, 3, 1, and 3. And again, like, it's just, I kind of bumped these highs up a little bit just so I could get those very important audio sounds when they come. Like somebody throwing a smoke grenade or a Molotov or something, you know, like at a far distance. Sometimes the audio barely comes in from my testing at a far distance. So I wanted to make sure I could get at least as much of that as possible to get the idea where he's at. So CSGO, very difficult one. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt, but definitely try it. It's definitely worked for me, but it could be improved, in my opinion. More testing should be done with it. Destiny, I can't really give an opinion on Destiny because my testing really only came from single player. I mean, I played 3 missions and I still don't know how to get the fucking Crucible. It bugs the fuck out of me. So if anyone out there knows what the fuck to do to get into Destiny multiplayer, please let me know, because I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. Maybe when I'm live on stream one of these days and you know, you see me trying to play Destiny or something, or even just to stop by seeing that I'm live, please come in and just be like, hey, I know what to do in Destiny, and fucking maybe we'll just hop through it and try it, because I really want to get multiplayer started to get better EQ testing done and just to try out multiplayer personally. So anyways, I got bass boost at 100, 6, 4, 3, 5, 1, 2, 2, 0, 0, and 3. And again, like I said, it's just, you really don't need audio for single player, so this one is definitely with a grain of salt until I could get into multiplayer. But I mean, you know, I just threw it in there just in case some of the Destiny fans wanted to, you know, get some kind of EQ as a starting point in there. I know you guys with multiplayer experience will probably have better actual, you know, experience with how audio works in multiplayer. It could be a lot different than it is in just, you know, single player going around, PvE or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, this one's another grain of salt. And I'm sorry that a lot of these are going to be a grain of salt because it's just so hard to get all this testing done in the time. This is how in-depth it can get. So Fortnite. All right, so I know people have been asking for Fortnite, and I fucking hate that I have actually caved in and did Fortnite. So hold on one second. Sorry. So anyways, bass boost 100, sound normalization at 25. I put it like that because Fortnite's audio has a lot of random ass audio, but when footsteps matter, they matter, and they're pretty loud. They're pretty good with the audio cues in this game. So I just hated that I played 3 matches, won the first 3 matches, 13 kills, 9 kills, and 11 kills on solos. And I'll tell you right now, it's kind of, I don't know how I did that, but I laughed about it. And I've sent it on Discord. I was like, I can't believe I just did this. Like, this is a game I don't even like. And, you know, I'm trying it out for the EQs, and I ended up winning three games in a row. 3 first games, 3 games in a row. So I thought it kind of funny. And I came up with 5, 4, 4, 6, 0, 0, 1, 2, 0, and 2. And again, like I said, it was just the far away audio was still clear enough to where you could be like, okay, yeah, there's people shooting at a distance. You know, like, audio was pretty good in that game. I could honestly admit they really took care of the game pretty well. Shout out to those developers. They're really pretty on point with that, but I'm not a fan of Fortnite. I don't really care for the gameplay of it. You know, Bloom is not my thing. I hate Bloom, and so when I played it, I just gave it my best, like, testing while I was on the fly, and I was kind of laughing about it. I was like, man, I can't believe I won these games while testing shit. But yeah, there you go. So I found this to be the best. Like I said, you know, you could use it and then adjust where you need to for your ears, but I personally think Fortnite was just kind of one of those games where I was like, you know, like, interesting. But the audio is pretty good. I'll give them that. I'll give them that for sure. Okay, I have music electronic here. I put electronic specifically so you guys know that this was like the best testing for electronic music, but we're gonna skip that right now. We're gonna do that at the end. So we're gonna go PUBG. So PUBG, I don't know what's going on with PUBG's audio, and I do have sound normalization on because I was really having trouble with bass audio in that. There's moments where the audio, and I'm sure it's just the game, but I'm sure that when I was testing the audio, like, there's a lot of long range, like, you know, instances where you're going to hear gunshots, but you barely hear them, you know, and you need to pinpoint where they're at. I found this EQ right here to be the best. I've tested this a lot of times. One of these games I was testing a lot, and PUBG was just one of those games where it's like, I really just have issues with bass audio at certain spots, and it was either like they're really close to me, I don't hear nothing, or they're really far away and I hear them like fuck crystal clear. So it was really weird. So I just kind of did like what I did with Warzone. I was like, all right, fuck, we're gonna jack it up just in case, you know, just in case those little instances where I don't hear them, maybe I'll hear them just enough now. So I got 8, 6, 5, 7, 2, 0, 3, 2, 5, and 4. And again, like I said, the long range engagements, I kind of put the highs up over here pretty high, was so I could get, if it's really, really far away, maybe it'll pick it up just a smidgen. You know, you want to be able to hear like a ting, like, you know, like a loud sound in a distance, be like, okay, that was a fucking DMR or something, a SKS getting shot. You know, something to give you that cue at a range, because again, PUBG's huge maps, you gotta kind of have that. So sound normalization, I just felt like, you know, with the frame rates and stuff, like it was really smooth. Like I really enjoy PUBG's like build right now, minus the movement obviously, but other than that, it was just a sound normalization where I was like, it felt more immersive. It felt more like I was inside of everything instead of just like, you know, separating what's important. But it just gave me that more comfortable sound. That's why I put it at 30. But you can uncheck this and it'll probably separate audio a little better. But with my testing, obviously sound normalization will just bring it up a little bit, and then on top of that, you know, you got your EQs. So worked for me. I don't think there's really much adjusting to this one, so you might actually like it right off the bat. But I would, like I said, everyone's ears are different. Drop it 1 or 2 on each one. Go up 1 or 2 in each one. Let me know. We're going to skip the realistic audio because I know I'm going to do that at the end too, so we can explain a lot about that. So Realm Royale. I know Realm Royale is not a game a lot of people play, but I just threw it in there because I was actually enjoying Realm Royale. It's a fun game, honestly, if you haven't played it. It's like playing Fortnite, but without so much of the bloom, and more or less like it's more accurate to me, and it's just like a more casual BR, fun BR, you know. It's nothing crazy, you don't feel like you're sweating your ass off, but it's still fun. Like it's got its fun, funny moments. People turn into fucking chickens, like you can't laugh at that. Like come on, it's a great game. So obviously I know it's just not popular, it's not and it's kind of buggy at times, it can be very laggy, but it's still got its fun moments. I threw it in here. I put the sound normalization on during testing. You don't need the sound normalization, you can turn that off. It's at 20 right now, but like I said, it doesn't need to be on. I just kind of did it just when I was playing with it, but this EQ pretty much worked out for me perfectly. I really don't think there's adjusting for this one either. So obviously bass boost 100, important audio, 6 4 4 6 1 0 2 2 0 and 3. And there you have it. That's pretty much Realm Royale. Like I said, similar. It's kind of similar to Fortnite if you really think about it, but at the same time, I mean, the map is big, but the audio cues are like pretty much standout, and it's not like the best audio experience where you're gonna have pinpoint exact audio sounds because of just the way the game's built. So, still a great game if you want to try it out. It's free to play if you don't know, so give it a shot. Nice little BR. That's just fun little fuck around game, you know what I mean? It's casual, you know, get a group of friends in there and just try it out. It's actually pretty cool. Splitgate. Now Splitgate, like I said, Splitgate was one of those games where it's like, it's really weird because like bass audio can be loud at moments, but it can be very quiet at moments. I think that's one of their weak points is the audio. But other than that, like you got the portals and stuff, and then, you know, guns going off. Guns going off is very important. So I don't even know why my high should be a little higher, but I'm not going to adjust anything right now. I would just say use this template, EQ template, but just go up on each one of the highs, at least one, and then from there test it, because honestly, like I said, the highs is what you're really looking for, because audio is, or gunshot audio and explosion audio, you know, whatever, is much more important than the actual bass sounds because of just the way the design is. It's in my opinion. I've had more kills based off of, oh, I heard this guy shooting over here, than I actually heard the footsteps over here. There is footsteps, don't get me wrong, that's why I put it up, but it's just more of the audio that I was getting from the gunshot. So bass boost at 100. I got 6 4 4 5 1 1 2 2 1 and 3. And again, the game runs really good, high frames. It was really fun experience, and I'm definitely going back to Splitgate to have some more fun with it. Definitely, if you guys, and that's another thing too with my community, if you guys want to play some matches with me, let me know. Follow my socials, follow my Discord especially, and when I'm streaming a game, you can hop in and just be like, hey, you want to play some matches, and maybe we'll just team up. Depending on what I'm doing for the day, we'll definitely team up, you know, and definitely get to know each other, try to build a relationship of a community, you know. That's the goal here. So, and then obviously we got Valorant. Like I said, Valorant is one of those games where like it was pissing me off to a core, where I was like, how do I test audio if the audio is only coming when the player decides the audio is coming, you know what I mean? So if someone's sprinting, that's when I'm gonna actually be able to test it. But if they're not sprinting and they're just crouch walking everywhere, or if you want to call it crouch walking, I call it, you know, slow walk or whatever, what am I supposed to do about that? So obviously I had a tough time. I just started throwing things up. I'm gonna say this worked for me overall, and especially in those important moments. But you know, like I said, you just drop a lot of these down by 2, you know, maybe that'll fit you better, more cleaner experience. But right now, like this for competitive edge, I just was getting a little frustrated. And then I went to deathmatch where I was like, hopefully people are running around more. And this is where I got, like, my opinion, the best EQ for myself. But like I said, this is still a playthrough thing. I gotta test this out more. It's really hard to dial in Valorant's EQ with the important audio. So we'll start with 8, 6, 5, 7, 4, 3, 4, 2, 3, and 5. And again, like I said, I just made the important audios as best as I could, and then I was just gambling on if their footsteps come, you know, walking across the map. I want to be able to hear it, and then this is what kind of like helped, but like I said, it's still rough. It's a rough draft. It's not easy to get Valorant's EQ and CSGO. So bass boost at 100 and sound normalization off. So voice clarity down here, you don't see it, but voice clarity, don't need it. You don't need it. Just keep it off. It's nothing. It's nothing for you. Okay, it's just pretty much a waste of a thing. So. And then last but not least, obviously, Warzone, besides the EQ and music, I already know, or sorry, realistic and music. We'll get to that. But Warzone, you can see how high I bumped it up. Audio is so broken in this game. I don't know what the fuck to do with it. I even put sound normalization on 25. I don't know what to do with this game. Call of Duty's audio is just so terribly bad. So this is just what I came up with. And honestly, like I said, I that's like my main fucking game that I was good at too, and I was streaming a lot, so I don't know what to do with this audio. It's so bad and it's so hard to get the testing out for it. I just don't know what I could possibly do to get a clean audio experience if the audio is never working, you know what I mean? So we'll just start right here. 9, I know it sounds terrible, 9, it's a high fucking decibel rate, but that's how bad the footsteps need to come in for a game that you die like this, you know what I mean? So 9, 6, 6, 8, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, and 5. And again, like I said, you could just start with this baseline, you know, drop it up to or down to. Honestly, with my experience, I probably would even go up higher if I could, just because there's certain audio where I was getting so frustrated. I was like, the guy's running next to me doesn't have dead silence, and he's fucking just gliding like it's like he has dead silence. And also, this audio EQ was used in Vanguard's beta, and I will tell you right now, nothing's saving that audio. Vanguard's beta was like, you might as well just scratch the game entirely, because you don't even I was playing matches, which, by the way, the next video after this will be uploaded of Vanguard's beta and my opinions of it. I was playing without a headset. That's how like unimportant audio was in that game, because you're like, what am I supposed to do? There's no audio. Everyone's running around dead silence. I hear a little bit of gunshots, and they have to be like 5 feet from me just to hear it. It's fucking ridiculous. It's terrible. So it's the worst audio experience I've ever had, and Call of Duty Warzone's adapting that, and it's fucking disgusting. So my opinion, fuck that. This is probably your best bet just to hear anything in Warzone. But again, you know, adjust it as best as you can, and then hopefully, you know, like, you find a perfect audio setting in game to kind of work with it, because other than that, I just haven't found anything that works right now, and it's just sad. But this is as best as it gets, as I could put for it. So okay, and then now we are at the music. So music, this was pretty good for me. I like this. It kind of balanced out the bass. It balanced out the vocals, the best part of the vocals, and then everything else was just kind of like guiding in there, so it's kind of flowed. So that's why you see like a little bit of a wave after the bass, because the bass, all flat levels of bass, so the bass sounds perfect together, like a synchronization of bass sound. And then on top of that, you got the mids to highs, where the voice of vocals, like this song right here, it matches with the bass. It matches with the melody. The melody's a little less, so that way you get that more impactful voice sound over the melodies. So obviously right here we go with 5, 5, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is kind of funny. I didn't even realize I did that. 4, 5, and 2. Remember, you're getting the most important audios out to match with the most important audio of electronic music, which is the bass. So like I said, I'm keeping it right here. I like it with this headset. I know the V2 Pro, I had an even better EQ dialed in. I was testing that a lot. I love the audio with music on the headset. So this one, I'm gonna say this is a start. Obviously, I like it a lot, but it probably could be adjusted a little better. But this is where I just kind of put it together, and it sounded really good. And obviously, sound normalization. I have it at 35 right now, but I think turning it up even sounds good. If we could turn it up real quick, and let's just see if you see, it brings it to life a little bit. But that's, now you're starting to hear the melodies a little too high. You know what I mean? So bass needs to come up more, or melodies need to come up or go down more. So that's where it's kind of like there's a balance with sound normalization, but that's how big and important this feature is, and it's amazing. So like maybe like 50 will balance it perfectly, and then obviously when you jack up the volume of music, it's gonna sound great. So Obviously, I think I'm gonna leave it at 50 just because when I switched it over, it felt like it brought the music more to life. That's about it. So I'm gonna keep it right here. Obviously, I would still probably go up a little bass, probably drop it even a little bit more in the mids and even highs. So, but you want the vocals to match with it, so you get the vocals impact with the music. So there you go. That's the music EQ. And then last but not least, the realistic EQ, which everyone's been looking for. Remember, I used this on Arc, rough draft entirely, but yeah, as you can see, it's a little wonky looking. But I brought the bass where it needs to be heard, you know, like your own footsteps and stuff. That's where I feel like this EQ was the 125 hertz was picking it up a lot. And this was all in Arc, by the way. I turned bass boost off because I wanted the most realistic sound possible. You don't have bass boost in realism, you know what I mean? So obviously bass boost is off. Sound normalization I actually put up just to bring everything more to life, kind of just have a more like, you know, immersive sound. And then I went with 2, 3, 4, 2, 0, 0, 2, 1, 2, and 0. And again, that was just in Arc. Rough draft. We'll try other games, but just start with this. Let me know how it sounds for you. Give me your opinion on it. And if there's anything else you'd like to see in these videos, please let me know. Definitely appreciate all support. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oops. There you go. So that is my EQ settings for the Blackshark V2 wired. It's a long video, but definitely needed to upload it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Keep an eye out for more videos coming, okay? Especially the Blackshark V2 Pro, which, by the way, I'm actually hooking this up as soon as I end this video. That was loud as hell. I apologize. So the Blackshark V2 Pro is coming back out for those fans waiting for that. But yeah, I will be like revisiting this just to clarify all the audio, and I think I'll give you guys, we'll just say this is like more of a rough draft of this whole EQ, because honestly it's really hard when there's so much time going towards other stuff. But like in terms of like my main gaming, this will be the main, but I'll probably go back and revisit certain days where I'll just plug this headset in. It's already set up ready to go, so I just plug it in and we could just game and be like, okay, I'm gonna test this audio for the day. I'll do that live on stream. I'll make that certain days for streaming, so that way, you know, we can focus on it and just kind of like maybe even together, like you kind of go how audio sounds with me in the chat, and we can kind of like type it out and be like, all right, I'll adjust it here while we're streaming. That'd be great. If you guys think that's a good idea, just to kind of bring everyone together and do this all together, that'd be awesome. So the majority of the time when I'm playing competitively, I'm probably just gonna go back to these, I'll be honest with you. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm out of here. You guys have a good one. Follow, like, and subscribe. All socials, please. And you know, it means a lot to me, and I appreciate you guys sticking through me during this hiatus of streaming, but I'm coming back soon, sooner than you guys think. Adios, okay? Take it easy.